This video is going to take you from girl to woman. Not only is it going to help you reach emotional maturity, which is such an attractive and magnetic quality to have, but it's going to help heal you so that you can enable your feminine energy once and for all. So let's get right in. The goal here is to basically raise self-awareness and then work on yourself. So I'm going to give you 6 signs that you are still a girl, and then with that you'll have the fixes that are going to help you work on yourself to become the woman that you want to be. So a girl constantly seeks validation from other people. She needs the opinions of others. She needs the yes or the no before she does something. She's insecure in her own abilities. She's not self-assured. She questions herself a lot, and then she shames herself when she does something wrong. She really craves approval from other people, so when someone gives her criticism, she does not take that well. It'll replay in her mind over and over again and then make her even more insecure about herself. So if any of this is you, there are a few things you can do to work on yourself. I think the first one would be building that self-trust again. Practice not going to other people for advice or opinions and just journaling, coming to yourself, asking yourself what you think you should do, how to go about it. And the more you practice this and leaving your friends out for their opinions on what text you should send to this person or how to handle this situation at work, the more you refrain from asking other people, the more you get used to relying on yourself and building that self-trust. Begin to value your own opinion over other people's opinions. And then, if and when you do make a mistake, learn to just accept them and move on. Learn to just detach from the past and stop the overthinking and just move forward. Another very important fix is to not be defensive. When somebody is trying to give you criticism, whatever it is that you don't like hearing, hear them. Whether or not you agree with it is one thing, but try, especially in your younger years, to hear whatever constructive criticism you are getting from someone, because this can really help you shape and become the woman you want to become. If people are telling you the same thing, a quality that is not so good about yourself, try to listen and see what you can do to prevent anyone from thinking this about you. Because when you're in your younger years, it's very easy to work on yourself and break habits. That's why we hear oftentimes, oh, they're already 60-year-old, they're stuck in their ways. It's very important to hear the criticism and use it for self-improvement, especially when it's a loved one, like your boyfriend or your mom or dad or childhood friend. If someone has something to say to you, instead of being defensive, hear them and see what it is you can do to work on yourself so that this does not become a part of who you are in your later years. Instead of arguing and saying, no, I'm not, I didn't do this, say, interesting, thank you for telling me that. I'm gonna think about how I can work on it. And lastly, learn to connect with your intuition. Once you trust yourself, your intuition, and put it to work, you're not going to need to ask other people for their advice or opinions on things. Usually your intuition is the first thought that comes to mind when you need to make a decision. What is the first thing your mind tells you to do? And the more we overthink and stop trusting ourselves, so we go to other people, we start changing the ideas and the solutions in our mind. Your gut intuition is usually what your body tells you first. And next up is avoiding solitude. Girls have a tendency to be afraid of being alone, which is actually the best time to build self-love. So what they'll do is they'll conform themselves in order to fit in with the wrong circle, just so that they can be busy and go out and not stay home that Saturday night. They get FOMO, fear of missing out. Even when they're exhausted, they will force themselves to go out. They will return to toxic people just because they don't want to be alone. Let's say this is an ex-girlfriend, someone who's shown you their red flags and true colors, and you continue to be their friend because you'd rather have them as a friend than lose someone. And the same thing with a toxic boy. You'll continue to see someone who you know has no good intentions for you. The fix: finding JOMO, joy of missing out, being comfortable at home, using that time alone to create, reflect, grow, learn about yourself. Don't be afraid to lose anyone. The worst person to lose is yourself. And the best saying for this is you cannot drink poison just because you're thirsty. Learn to let go of people and understand that those that are meant for you, people that are meant to be in your life, whether that's a girlfriend or a guy that you're seeing, if they're not meant to stay, they won't stay no matter what. So you will attract those who are meant to be in your life. Learn to enjoy your own company. And when you do and you recharge your battery, that's when you become your most magnetic self and you attract the best people that you want to attract, like-minded people, people who are not toxic and negative, because you're taking care of yourself. And when you give yourself that self-love, you attract people that are on that same vibration as you. Next up, if you are chasing boys, if you are prioritizing seeking male attention over focusing on yourself, where you're prioritizing short-term relationships over long-term goals, sacrificing your own self-respect for short-term or temporary affection, or lastly, trying to fix him and investing more into him than you do to yourself, we have a problem. These are characteristics of a girl, not of a woman who loves herself and wants to invest into herself. A woman in her feminine energy does not do, and all of this screams pursuing and doing and being in the masculine energy. If you are doing this, immediately divert your attention back to yourself. Go and chase your goals, your education, your self-development. Focus on becoming your best self, and then you won't have to do any seeking. The right person, the right masculine man will seek you. Always, always trust in the universe that it will send the right person to you. A masculine man will want to invest in you so that you don't need to. We are reciprocators. So if you found yourself doing any of those things, stop them immediately, revert back to yourself. In time, you will attract the right person without even trying. Put all that energy back into yourself. Next one is lack of emotional control. Girls lack emotional control. So if you are constantly struggling to keep yourself emotionally regulated and you do not handle stress well, where you allow yourself to lash out on someone that you love, or even some stranger in their car who is cutting you off and you're giving them road rage, it means that you have not done the work, the inner work. But the good news is you can start this at any point of your life, or even restart this if this is something that you have been working on in yourself and you have adapted meditation practices and journaling and all of these things, therapy, that helped you become more emotionally in control and you fell off. You can always go back into your practice and work on yourself again. You can train yourself on how to think before you speak. It's a very difficult thing to do, but with practice, this is yet again another thing you can achieve, as well as coming up with coping mechanisms for when you are in an emotional state and not letting yourself make that phone call or confront that person when you are in your emotions. When a woman is in control of her emotional state, she becomes the most powerful and attractive and unstoppable being on the planet. Your relationships will improve, your outlook on life, everything will change for the better. No man wants to deal with an emotional girl. I don't care what people are saying that guys are attracted to toxic women. It's not true. I'm not saying not to have emotions. Women are emotional creatures. We have emotions. I'm saying be able to control them. Get yourself to a place where you are able to express your emotions in a more calm state. And you get so much better resolution when you do approach things in that way. When you are overly emotional, you become overly aggressive and you push people away and you hurt people and therefore hurt yourself. So gaining emotional control is key. And next is avoiding responsibility. Girls refuse to take accountability for their mistakes. They don't like owning up to their mistakes. They don't like apologizing. They would rather deny or act defensively or even justify what they did. Learn how to take full accountability for your actions. It's okay to be vulnerable and look at yourself and admit where you went wrong. Take time to reflect to yourself. If someone says you did this and this hurt me, don't point the finger back at them. Don't be stubborn. Don't be defensive. Apologize. Even if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, always learn how to give the other person what they need to hear to feel better. When you don't, you tend to ruin relationships. People hold resentment towards you, and over time, this ends friendships, lovers, and so much more. Being able to take accountability and responsibility for your wrongs in any situation, doesn't matter who started what first, you will be able to improve all of your relationships at work, in love, and friendships. It is such an important thing to do, and girls that are young and immature lack this ability. So work on that. This step alone is going to make your love life so much better, by the way, because it is so attractive to a man when a woman is able to not be defensive and take a look at her faults and be vulnerable and sincere and genuine when she apologizes. A lot of us make mistakes too, but we tend to just, again, point the blame in the direction of the man. So working on this can really revamp your love life, especially if you've been having issues with your partner. And lastly, avoiding difficult conversations. Girls have a tendency to avoid tough talks. They would rather avoid expressing how they really feel and just go silent on a subject. They fear having confrontation or a disagreement with someone, so they just stay quiet on the matter. They would rather just ignore and not address the issue. So not being able to speak up for yourself is actually a lack of self-worth, which is something you can also develop with doing that work, doing the inner work. You need to practice learning how to have those difficult conversations and understand that it's not only going to help you build a relationship with yourself, but it also has the tendency to improve the relationship with the other person. When you have these difficult talks and you're able to resolve them, it makes you guys stronger. So by not speaking to someone about something that's difficult is actually robbing you of a chance to make the relationship better. So learn to develop those communication skills. Speak up for yourself. Face these issues with honesty and respect. And as long as you are respectful when you're talking to someone about your conflict, if they are meant for you, this will not offend them. If the person is not meant for you, they will fall off, like I said, no matter what you do. So trust that whoever is meant for you will stay, and this is just an experience for you two to get closer. I am confident that with these 6 steps, now you will reach emotional maturity and become the most attractive feminine woman ever. So do the homework, work on all these, and I guarantee you're gonna have a transformation this year. Okay, my love, if this video was helpful for you, please give this video a like. It would mean so much to me. And I also invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way I can see you again all very soon.